Yeah.
Okay, so we have few folks yet to join. I think they are finishing their dinner. Right. So guys, let's make a start. So thanks, Pavan, for joining the session. Right. And we are going to have a good session from you. The session is going to be covered by Pavan is Architecting the AI-powered Organization, a CTO Playbook. Coming on the brief of the background of Pavan, Pavan is an engineering leader and an AI entrepreneur. He draws over a decade experience leading engineering teams and driving digital transformation at high growth companies. Pavan has led major cloud native transformation, Kubernetes adoption, and cutting edge platform modernization initiatives. He is passionate about advancing innovations. He enjoys cricket, hiking, and exploring California landscape. Pavan, you can start now. That was a brief summary about you.
Thank you, Gaurav, for that intro. Am I audible? Am I good?
Yes, you are, Pavan.
So let me share my screen pretty quick, and I'll turn on the center mode here shortly. Just give me a sec here. How do I do this? Do you see my presentation?
Yeah, we can see. You can start now.
Awesome. All right. Again, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Welcome, first of all. As CTOs, we have a pivotal role to play in responsibly guiding our organization's adoption of generative AI. I see that theme being pretty consistent across the talks I've heard so far in this particular summit. This technology represents a watershed moment with potential to revolutionize industries, but it needs to be very thoughtfully implemented. So over the next few minutes, I'll provide a very strategic framework for evaluating, incubating, and scaling high potential generative AI capabilities across our business and our technology stack. We'll explore different approaches for alignment, organizational design, and responsible AI adoption while maintaining our core systems. My goal is to equip each one of you with an actionable playbook for integrating generative AI in a very purposeful way that unlocks innovation while also at the same time managing risk, which is equally important. So let's get started. So before we dive into the strategies for adoption, let's ground ourselves into what generative AI actually is. I know it's kind of a repetition based on a lot of content you've seen before, but it's always good to have that refresher. At its core, generative AI refers to systems that can create new, original content like text, audio, or video. So the key capabilities would include natural language processing to generate some coherent text, computer vision to create realistic images and video, speech synthesis to mimic human voices and audio, and some code generation to produce software and software programs. Under the hood, generative AI leverages deep learning techniques like transformers and massive training datasets. But the key is that these models can produce novel human-like content, and it's just not about analyzing data. The capabilities are rapidly evolving. Every week sees something new. Systems can now generate content conditional on prompts and converts very closely like a human. As CTOs, we need to stay abreast of the technical advances, like your foundational models, few-shot learning, model architectures, and establish proper governance across these systems. Used judiciously, generative AI could significantly augment human creativity and productivity. But careful implementation is the key, which we will see next. Why adopt generative AI? Many organizations are pursuing generative AI because it enables breakthrough capabilities that provide competitive edge. Some major drivers include increased efficiency. You're able to automate manual tasks like content creation, which is freeing up employees for more strategic work. Enhanced products and services. Generative AI can be directly incorporated into offerings like your chatbots and recommendation engines. Innovation. It can enable new business models, products, industries, and you see that in autonomous vehicles at this point of time. Improved decisions. Generative models can uncover insights humans may miss or suggest highly optimized solutions. In summary, applied thoughtfully, generative AI adoption can profoundly transform customer experience, business operations, and even the whole industries. Before embarking on a generative AI program, it's critical to objectively assess your organization's readiness. The key areas to evaluate include data health. You want to assess coverage, depth, diversity, and identify gaps. Infrastructure, you want to audit your current systems for storage, networking, and compute requirements. Skill sets, you want to have the multidisciplinary expertise which is needed right from your data scientists to ethics specialists. Executive buy-in, you want to confirm with your senior leadership that they understand opportunities and support investment. Culture, is there openness within your organization for experimentation and change? Because generative AI is going to impact your workflows, it's going to impact your roles, and your responsibilities would also evolve. Methodically reviewing each area allows us to develop a roadmap to close the gaps before scaling. Once the organizational readiness is confirmed, the next step is shaping a comprehensive generative AI strategy. You want to identify high-impact use cases. Which are those business problems or functions which will benefit the most from generative AI? Let's consider that potential value. We want to define pilot projects, identify focused pilot use cases to demonstrate value at small scale, and build those capabilities internally first. Assessing technology needs, map out the required data pipelines, infrastructure, and integration needed for generative AI success. Building cross-functional teams, determine roles across technology, business, and design needed for responsible AI development. Providing governance, creating the right set of guardrails for ethics, transparency, privacy, and performance standards. And more importantly, change management, engaging those stakeholders early and often, and making a very, very human case for generative AI. This would enable targeted deployment, and it builds confidence within the organization. To execute on a generative AI strategy, the technology foundations must support the success. The key components would include data infrastructure. Do we have secure and scalable storage and pipelines for accessing quality data to power generative models? Compute power. Generative AI requires a lot of GPU space. So GPUs and specialized chips to enable high-speed AI model processing and inferences. Development tools, frameworks like TensorFlow and PyTorch to build and evaluate and update generative models. Integration layer, ability to embed generative AI within the existing systems through APIs and microservices. A robust MLOps platform with capabilities to deploy, monitor, and update those models responsibly. And model management, tools to store, version, control access to approved models which are ready for production use. With the right stack, generative AI systems can be rapidly developed, deployed, monitored, and integrated with the current existing stack to maximize value. To maximize the strategic impact of the generative AI, there are key organizational design considerations to consider. Centers of excellence. We want to build critical mass of expertise while distributing capabilities across business units. New roles. There will be new opportunities like ethics leads and AI translators to connect technical and domain knowledge. Agile teams. We want to enable tight collaboration between engineers, product experts, and the subject matter experts. Knowledge sharing, creating opportunities for teams to share learnings across the organization through training and workshops. Pilot focus, starting with defined pilots tied to your business KPIs before pursuing larger initiatives. And holistic metrics. Measure technological progress, but also creativity, collaboration, and overall health of the workforce. While the technology, every time the technology provides the foundation, organizational design, people, and culture are critical for scaling generative AI responsibly. To build trust and mitigate risks, generative AI must be implemented responsibly. The key considerations include representation. We want to ensure diversity in training data to reduce harmful biases and continue to actively monitor outputs. Privacy. We should employ techniques like federated learning and differential privacy to protect personal data. Security. Implement access controls, encryption, and monitoring to safeguard models and data. Transparency. Clearly communicate those capabilities, limitations, and performance to all the stakeholders. Accountability. Establish mechanisms for reporting issues like harmful content or IP violations. Sustainability, which is often overlooked, but it's equally important. Optimize for energy efficiency when training and running generative models. Accountability. Oversight. Form cross-functional bodies to assess risks, fairness, and societal impacts continuously. Compliance. Proactively engage legal counsel to adhere to regulations and avoid liability. By proactively addressing these dimensions, we can develop generative AI that augments human potential, while also at the same time avoiding harm. Successfully scaling generative AI requires thoughtful change management. Stakeholder communications, clearly communicating the timelines and goals and the expected impacts early and often. Training employees, equipping employees with understanding and the skills needed to adopt new tools. User feedback channels, actively solicit input on issues and undesirable outputs and incorporate those learnings. Gradual rollouts slowly ramp up complexity as organizational comfort levels improve. Role-specific planning, address how workflows and required skills will evolve for each role. Reinforcing quick wins, leverage proofs of value from early pilots to build further buy-in from your executive leadership and adoption. And last but not the least, you want to celebrate contributions. You want to recognize teams and individuals who can help drive responsible generative AI progress. These were just few of those best practices, But with proactive change management, we can smoothly transition our organizations and amplify generative AI benefits. To ensure generative AI aligns with the business goals and minimizes risks, key governance considerations should include risk assessments. We want to proactively evaluate risks spanning data, models, biases, misuse, IP infringement, and developed strategies, mitigation strategies for these. Policy management. We want to establish access controls. We want to establish monitoring and other policies to safeguard the model and the data assets. Model oversight. Continuously monitor the model performance and ensure that there are no unintended behaviors. We can use MLOps and human-in-the-loop reviews. Incident response. Have mechanisms to disable models and promptly address issues like your harmful content or IP violations. Legal collaboration. Work closely with legal counsel to adhere to regulations and avoid liability. Documentation. Maintain thorough documentation on data provenance, model development, evaluation results, and compliance procedures. This would be needed for your auditors soon. Developer training, equipping the developers to assess risks and implement responsible practices throughout the AI development lifecycle. With vigilant governance, we can enable generative AI to thrive while keeping the organizations secure, compliant, and also accountable. So as we conclude, let's recap the key takeaways for CTOs leading the generative AI adoption. Identifying high potential use cases, pinpointing where generative AI will have the greatest business impact. Assessing organizational readiness, evaluating data, infrastructure, skills, culture, and executive alignment. Develop an implementation strategy. Include focused pilots, technology needs, teams, and governance. Build the technology foundations. We want to build the quality data pipelines, the MLOps, the MLOps foundations, and have like clear integrations for the systems defined. Design the organization for AI. We want to distribute expertise via centers of excellence. We'll be creating new roles and agile teams. Lead responsible and ethical AI. We want to embed practices for transparency, fairness, privacy, and security. Manage change thoughtfully. We want to equip employees with the needed mindsets and the skills to drive this adoption and implement rigorous governance. We want to monitor for risks and enforce policies and accountability. By taking this comprehensive approach, we can unlock generative AI's immense potential while mitigating risks. This is all I had. Thank you all for joining today for this important discussion on architecting generative AI adoption. And again, I want to express my gratitude to all the SS Agile Gurus, Agile coaches. I hope you found the framework and the best practices shared valuable as you lead this transformation in your respective organizations. I welcome your perspectives and feedback, and I would love to keep the conversation going. Before I jump into a little, take a moment to quickly introduce InfluencerKit.ai. I want to pause here for any questions.
Yeah, thanks, Pavan, for the wonderful session. Now we can have the questions from the audience. If you have any questions, please share it on the chat. You can raise your hand. I will unmute you. Okay, seems like it's all clear, Pavan.
Yeah.
You can start with the kit details.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to take a moment to quickly introduce you to InfluencerKit.ai. So Influencer Kit allows subject matter experts and influencers to have the power of extending their knowledge, extending their wisdom to the people, to their followers, and even to their future customers, which are called the leads. Imagine the power of having access to those thought leaders as their fan, as their follower, and you can ask them any question at any point of time. That's the kind of interaction we are building. That's the kind of engagement we are giving thought to. We actually give this thought leader and this influencer a chance to extend their brand and their wisdom and their knowledge forever. We do this at scale around the world in multiple languages. So imagine having a conversation with Ratan Tata while he's not up all the night answering your questions, or imagine trying to speak with Barack Obama about a hot topic or a hot question that is close to your heart. How would you as their follower or as their fan feel? That is something that we are enabling through our platform, which is serving a lot of these thought leaders and influencers. So reach out to me on my email, pavan@influencerkit.ai. I look forward to speaking with you. This slide here also has my LinkedIn QR code. Feel free to connect and I'll be more than happy to give you a demo and even see how we might serve you and your organization.
Pavan, there is one question from Sharat, like any projects implemented in this area and challenges you faced?
So I am a platform engineering leader, and I have been really streamlining my organization to adopt generative AI over the past year. The biggest challenges were more in terms of organizations being hesitant at this point of time to embrace generative AI for obvious reasons. You probably have heard this across the different speakers too. Primarily, it boils down to security and privacy. Not everyone have the wherewithal and the economic power to actually fine-tune a model or build something in-house. It takes millions and millions of dollars to get to something of even like 100th of what where ChatGPT is. So if we are interfacing with likes of Bard or ChatGPT or Cloud from Anthropic, a lot of companies, for obvious reasons, don't trust that this data is going to be secure and it's going to be private. And there are like solutions being built on top of it, which probably are going to solve this problem soon, and it will get commoditized in the future. So what we have done within my organization is, sure, I mean, there are restrictions. We cannot use ChatGPT or like other similar LLMs for obvious reasons, but we started embracing it, developing very, very similar workflows using SlackOps or ChatOps and creating a very, very similar experience for our internal customers, which is like respectively the developers, because I'm leading a platform engineering organization. A lot of this has been done using low-code tools which are available, which can be hosted within our system. And then all of these have been piloted and we've been iterating on it. I would say that the success is a mix. There has been a lot of enthusiasm, but at the same time, a human is still needed to gate a lot of the responses and the automation. So I think as we evolve the models and we have like things, ChatOps is great for like, I want to roll this particular change out to production, or I want to spin up a test environment and like tear down a test environment. When those things are great through ChatOps, but if you are like wanting to build like give me insights based on this particular data set on or like make me a projection of how this is going to look in the future, I think we need like more powerful LLMs than what we can do or fine tune right now within an organization. So it is we've been using, like, we've embraced the principles of generative AI, at least within the organization. The likes of the big five, it's a little different because they inherently have been allowed to leverage generative AI at a much bigger scale because it's most of them are using their own products. But organizations outside of the big five or the big 10, it is kind of, I would say, a mix. It was a long-winded answer, but hopefully that answered your question, Shah. So it's pretty early, I would say, at this point of time. Yeah.
Thanks, Pavan. Yep, that's a long answer, but tightly called. Security is always a big concern in any area. But comes to generative AI, I think big countries are still working on how to get good laws around generative AI, so that when we start interacting internally or with the external customer, the data is protected. That is how we can move forward. Otherwise, there is no point in doing the POCs, which will risk our our confidential data. Thank you.
Thanks, Sharad. I hope
good.
that was the good response, what you were waiting for from Pavan. So Pavan, I'm just sharing the token of appreciation. So I'm just sharing my screen now.
Yeah.
Pavan, are you able to share, see the screen?
Yeah.
So this is a token of appreciation from SS Agile Gurus. So Sharad, Satish, you want to share anything before we close this session? For Pavan?
Yeah, overall, it's a great session. Satish, please go ahead.
Thanks for this walking us through this wonderful topic, Pavan. And definitely that helps us and the participants to go through this topic. And I know most of the participants might already started reaching out to you on your LinkedIn or on the access which you provided. You might be busy answering the responding to them over the weekend. Looking forward for it. Thanks, Pavan.
Thank you. Thank you, Sharad. Thank you.
Thanks, Pavan. I'm stopping the screen now. And we can move to the next topic. Sharad, I'm moving to the next. We still have time and there are no further questions.
Yeah, let's move to the next topic quickly.
Okay.
So that we can meet our time boxing.
Yeah, we will cover, right? The agenda and the plan for day one today.